Are the Cowboys drafting a quarterback in the first round this year? No. Alright folks, welcome back to another exciting episode of the D.Bell Sports Podcast. I'm your host, D.Bell, and as the intro suggests, I do not believe the Cowboys are drafting a quarterback in the first round. Not only do I think they're not drafting a quarterback in the first round, I don't think they're drafting a quarterback at all this year. And let me explain. See, we don't have the number one draft pick. We're not trading up for it. We have not had the bad luck that led us to rebuild the team that we had in the 80s. The last time the Dallas Cowboys, in fact, drafted a first-round quarterback was 1989. And that was Troy Aikman, who won 3 Super Bowls for us. Okay? So, let me explain the history of the Cowboys quarterback situation and kind of the formula that we use and kind of talk about the big picture and why we're not going to draft a quarterback this year. Now, in 1989, we drafted Troy Aikman. He was a quarterback until 2000. Then we had Quincy Carter, Chad Hutchinson. These are all starting quarterbacks. Vinny Testaverde, Drew Bledsoe, Tony Romo, and then Dak for the past 8 seasons. Troy Aikman was a first-round draft pick that we drafted. Quincy Carter went to Canada and then arena football after he was done playing for us. Chad Hutchinson went undrafted and he went to Europe. He actually lost his starting job to Quincy Carter when he was with us. Vinny Testaverde led the league in interceptions when he was with the Cowboys. That's great. We didn't draft Drew Bledsoe. We had him the last 2 years. In fact, we benched him in favor of Tony Romo, and then he retired. Okay? I mean, first Tom Brady and now Romo. He's like, I'm out. I'm done. I'm good. Tony Romo, of course, undrafted, and then Dak was a 4th-round pick. So, the formula. I actually did a few reaction videos on this from the 89, 90, 91 season. In 1988, we drafted Michael Irvin with the 11th pick in the draft, and we were still so bad that in 1989, we drafted Troy Aikman with the number 1 overall pick. Okay? So now we have our receiver and our quarterback in place. Now that same year, we traded Herschel Walker, which was a crazy trade at that time. We got 4 players and 9 draft picks, 5 of which were conditional. In 1990, we got Emmitt Smith, and eventually we got Deion Sanders to win that last Super Bowl in 96. Throw Jay Novacek in there and you have yourself a team. For our coach, we got Jimmy Johnson, who won a national championship with Miami in 1987, actually with Michael Irvin. So a real life example I can kind of use is if Jim Harbaugh, now the coach of the LA Chargers, he just won a national championship. So be like if he already had a good established player, maybe a receiver, and he traded Justin Herbert, maybe midseason, he got a whole bunch of draft picks and just got better and better and better over the next 3 years. So, a basic explanation. Tony Romo, we have been looking for quarterbacks up until Tony Romo came for the past 6 years, but he wasn't a first-round pick. Eventually, we got the pieces around him. We had Marion Barber, Felix Jones, DeMarco Murray as running backs, Miles Austin. He had T.O. at one point, and Des Bryant. Now, Dak in 2016, when he came around, he had a great O-line, and we drafted Zeke because Tony Romo got hurt in 2015, and we had a high draft pick. Now the receivers, he's gone through so many sets of receivers at this point, but now he has CeeDee Lamb. So now it's Dak and CeeDee Lamb, but what about our running back situation? Our running backs have deteriorated over the last few years, and then we're just left with Tony Pollard, who was a decent backup, but that's about it. And now we don't even have him. He went to the Titans. So the formula dictates that we have all these components: a first-round quarterback, a running back, and a receiver. We haven't even talked about the defense. But if we don't have those losing seasons to help us get high draft picks, then we need to make some moves. The formula today would look kind of like this. We would move up to get Caleb Williams. we would get Derrick Henry, and then we would keep CD Lamb. And even then, it might be best to draft a running back. But even a great running back, no one really stands out in this draft quite yet. Jonathan Brooks from UT, he's really good, but he tore his ACL and he has to rehab. Dylan Johnson with Washington, he could be a good running back. Maybe we could trade for Bijan Robinson. I don't know. But anyway, we're not getting a quarterback. We're not following the formula. We're certainly not going all in on either the draft to move up for someone or through free agency. And as a reminder, from free agency, we're broke, so we couldn't do that. And the quarterback room is set. Jack is set to make all this money. We pay Cooper Rush to be a backup, and then we got Trey Lance. He's our third string. So maybe if things don't work out this year, we'll draft a quarterback, and then him and Trey Lance will compete. But I did not see us drafting a quarterback at all this year. Certainly not in the first round, because we're just in wait and see mode to see what happens this year. I don't know all these rumors saying we're gonna move up and draft a quarterback. We're a sleeper team. I don't think so. I don't think so. Anyway, I'm not discouraged. I look forward to a good season. We won 12 games, three years in a row. So I'm just looking forward to see what we can do. Everything's on the line, and pretty much this is it. So we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to a good season, but we're just gonna have to wait. Just like my first video on my podcast, we're just gonna have to wait all season to see what they can do in the playoffs. It's gonna be exhausting, but that's just what we're gonna have to do. So I look forward to that. Of course, go Cowboys.